Well, joining us now is Seamus Bruner, Director of Research at the Government Accountability Institute. Seamus, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you.
It's great to see you, Lyndsay.
Okay, help us understand what are the missing pieces now, because most people thought that, as I mentioned to Guy, that Hunter Biden was just going to walk out of the courtroom today and everything was going to be okay. But now this has kind of blown up everything. So what should we be looking at?
Yeah, so today was a big day with the sweetheart deal that Hunter Biden and the prosecution had worked out, where essentially Hunter got a get out of jail free card in perpetuity. That's gone. The judge isn't going to stand for that. So they kind of have to go back to the drawing board here and work out a deal that the judge is going to allow. But what this means for the broader Biden scandal is this was, again, never about Hunter Biden. It's always been about Joe Biden. And the developments that have been happening in the past few weeks, whether it's the FD 1023 form and the whistleblowers, all signs are pointing to multiple different agencies from the IRS have evidence that Joe Biden was involved in these business deals, whether it's with the Burisma deal in Ukraine. I mean, the FD 1023 is huge. We're all still just kind of digesting it. It's been this fire hydrant of borderline smoking guns, if not smoking guns, implicating Joe Biden in these business deals. And so if it comes down to, if it's proven that Joe Biden changed policy, acted on policy in exchange for money, whether it went to Hunter or went through some network of shell companies, as we've seen, that is an impeachable offense. The Constitution specifically names bribery as an impeachable offense, and many have accused Joe Biden credibly of being involved in these schemes. They've called it bribery on that FD 1023 form. I mean, it was $10 million from Burisma, then it was $17 million from Burisma. Now we had some $31 million from the CEFC energy deal. So we're getting up to $50 million that went into the Biden family pockets, and we need to keep following the money trail. Congress needs to keep following the money trail, identify how much, if any, went to Joe Biden. We've talked about the bills that Hunter paid for Joe Biden. And then they need to move forward with impeachment if they can prove it.
I think one of the interesting things we saw today from these court hearings is this judge ultimately saying that this was a sweetheart deal. She said that it was unusual, as I mentioned. It wasn't normal. So many people have thought that the DOJ was slow walking some of these things to protect Biden, ultimately, not just Hunter, but to protect Biden. So how much more does it lead us to believe that that may be true?
Yeah, I mean, it was preposterous from day one that the U.S. Attorney's Office and Leslie Wolf, the deputy there under David Weiss, said that you can't go after Joe Biden if the money trail leads to Joe Biden. You have to look the other way. I believe there was some tipping off of various search warrants of a storage unit. So when the judge saw this plea agreement, she was, stunned, as anybody would be, because it essentially said that Hunter will not be charged. So what happened is, a few weeks ago when we first learned about this plea agreement, Team Hunter Biden, his legal team, came out and said, okay, case closed. Hunter's going to plead guilty to some misdemeanors, no jail time. And so, this is, everybody move along. And then the prosecution said, well, actually, there's some matters that are still under investigation. So there was this kind of disconnect between the two. When the judge sees that, she says, well, is Hunter immune from any future charges or not? And they had different answers. The prosecution says no, because you can't have future immunity like that. And Team Hunter Biden says, yes, he is immune. So that's what she's blown up that deal where Hunter gets a get out of jail free card.
Okay, so all this has a lot of interesting timing as well, because we expect next week for Hunter's friend and business partner, Devin Archer, to testify privately before Congress. Many people think that he will say that he was actually in the room with Hunter when, at the time, Vice President Joe Biden was on speakerphone with these foreign entities, talking about foreign deals, something he said, Joe Biden said, he never even talked to Hunter about business deals. So that would go against that, but as you mentioned, it would be an impeachable offense. What does this actually give Republicans in the House the nugget of information that they need to prove that Biden was involved? Is that enough?
To have Devin Archer, Devin Archer is like a brother to Hunter Biden. He has been with the Bidens since day one. He's the one part of the Rosemont-Seneca partnership that is through which all of these Burisma and Chinese money deals flowed. Devin Archer is the guy who's in a suit and tie and sharp, while Hunter is can't be found because he's on a bender. And Devin Archer goes into the deal. So Devin Archer's in every room where each deal happened. He knows Joe Biden very well. He met with Joe Biden while they were working for Burisma. He's basically the perfect witness. Now, we're not positive what he's going to say, and he has a lot of reason not to spill all of the beans because he was up to his neck in these deals. But nonetheless, if he's the third person to name Joe Biden as the big guy, that's irrefutable proof that Joe Biden was involved. And of course, we've got so much other evidence that Joe Biden was involved. I mean, we've got voice messages of Joe Biden telling Hunter he's in the clear. We've got messages saying, I've talked to my father about this. So, I mean, I don't know that we're missing very much, Lyndsay, other than, Congress to move forward.
Wow. Well, we'll be paying attention next week to see what happens with that hearing. Seamus Bruner, it's good to see you this evening.
Thanks.